To understand this phenomenon, starting off with your dimension would be wise. A point, that is.
A point marks a position in space. Conceptually, it has no length, width or depth and is therefore static, centralized and directionless. It's basically near nothing. It tells about the location only.
An infinite amount of point creates line. It has length, but no width and depth conceptually. What would this mean? It would mean that line is a one-dimensional object, and assuming there is a living thing inside of it, it would only be able to move in a linear path, left and right in a straight line. In other words, in X direction only. Now if you go to the second dimension, there is plane waiting for us. An infinite amount of line creates plane. It has length and width, but not depth. So, theoretically, if we bring the living thing into the second dimension, it is now entitled to move up and down, right and left, up and down, or as mathematicians say, in both X and Y directions. If an infinite amount of line creates plane, infinite amount of plane creates a volume, or cube, which is a three-dimensional object. It has and the length, and the width, and depth. In this world, that living thing would be able to move left or right, up and down, and forwards and backwards, meaning it can move in X, Y, and Z directions or anything in between. Now what happens if an infinite series of 3D worlds stack upon each other? We would have a fourth dimensional world. What exactly is the fourth dimension? A fourth dimensional creature would be able to see inside houses, inside of people, operating human body without even dissection or cutting tissues would be very much possible. I would like to start off explaining that time, when describing dimensions, matters. Let me give you an example for you. Done. I'll meet you tomorrow at Pushkin Library. Come on, will ya? Okay, Paul. I'll be here all day waiting, man. I've got zero things to do, so I'll be just in that library from dusk till dawn. Sorry, my bad. I'll meet you tomorrow at Pushkin Library at 2 p.m. Oh, thanks, I appreciate that. So I gave Tom location in space, and he had to wait until I gave him location in time. And that intersection of space and time is called our world line. For my and Dom's world lines to intersect, we have to be at the same place and at the same time. Now, let's reverse the scenario. Okay, Dom, I'll meet you tomorrow at 2 p.m. in Andromeda Galaxy. Is that alright? So we intuitively know that we need both the time and the space coordinates conjoined. We know that we need our world lines to be intersected in order to actually meet each other. So we, as 3D creatures, would be able to move forward and back, left and right, up and down, okay? Those are three special dimensions. But the time dimension is what we don't have access to.
Now think, how can we imprison a two-dimensional creature? Just draw a square. That's its prison cell.
Because we as 3D creatures viewing things in two dimensions would say, wait, just step out of it and you're outside. That's how you escape. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm fully locked in because I view things in one dimension, so all I can see is nothing but a pitch black wall.
Now let's imprison a three-dimensional creature. The prison has 6 sides, right? A ceiling, floor, 4 walls around us.
We would think we are completely locked in, but a head-dimensional creature, just step out of it and you're outside, you know what I'm saying? What the hell are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying. I'm fully locked in. Say what? I see no escapes here. So, the exact thing would have happened to us as well, assuming we were indeed a fourth dimensional creature, assuming we were not the prisoners of time. would we be able to escape the 3D prison? Oh yeah, just move to a time when I'm not in prison, is what I like to say. Well, it may seem logical, if you really think about it, it doesn't make sense. If you completely imply that fourth dimension is time, well, time is not special in the first place. I mean, as we have discussed earlier, there is difference between space and time, quite obviously. Saying that fourth dimension has time, every dimension has time in it, alright? So it would mean that fourth dimension is special in some, which doesn't really make any sense. How dimensions work? Dimensions are just another axis to a build. So we would graph x, y, z, and ultimately w in space. Hence, fourth dimension is not time. Yet there is one nuance that should be considered. We are only seeing one part of the full 4D shape, and we need that time. We need time to individually see each part of the full 4D shape. Speaking of the fourth dimensional shape, the tesseract. Now I cannot show you the tesseract, but you need to understand that it's basically two cubes within each other that have all adjacent sides perpendicular and all opposite sides parallel. Yet there are still three lines that connect the four lines into each vertex, so every tesseract would look somewhat like this. That's not exactly what it looks like, partly because this is a two-dimensional screen and partly because we cannot perceive things in a third dimension. So you cannot imagine how tesseract, a fourth-dimensional object, would look like. It is mentally impossible. You live in a 3D universe, alright? The problem is that all the information about an object cannot be expressed in 3D, so you end up viewing something from one angle only, and all the half of an image cannot be rendered. An example for you.
Hold your hand in front of you with your palm facing you. Turn your hand to the 180 degrees so you can see the back, and now you can see the palm side. That's how 3D space works in a nutshell. The 4D hypercube shown here is trying to express all sides of the image to your mind. You can see both the top and the bottom, both sides, the front and the back of the cube at the same time. That's the reason the image is dynamic.
So it is like trying to do something like this. So yeah, I think this video has helped you to get the firm understanding of what the fourth dimension is, and a 4D being might be looking inside of you. Yeah, 面白いですね。はははは。